What's up, everybody, and welcome back to our Life is Strange community series, a community series that airs every single Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alex, and this is where we talk about Life is Strange topics. Now, with Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 coming out, we had a couple episodes, the last two episodes, talking about aspects relating to them. We talked about, is it too anti-Trump, Life is Strange 2? We also talked about Max and Chloe relating to Daniel and Sean, and we talked about, which one's better at the current moment, and we did all that. Now, in this video, I want to take it a little bit back to that first topic, but mainly I wanted to talk about, is Life is Strange 2's villain racism? Now, I saw this as an article on Kotaku, I believe. I just saw the heading. I didn't actually read the article, but it got me thinking. I wanted to make a video. I'm not copying Kotaku's article, by the way. I'm not copying its name. What I want to talk about is Life is Strange 2's main villain racism, because Kotaku said that it is racism. So I want to talk about if that's actually the case and what that could mean. And I want to start out by saying that I really feel like it's going to be taking down a bad road if it goes there. When we were playing Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, the thing that I was most, wondering is who's the villain. The villain in Life is Strange, the first game, really kind of is the tornado, right? It's the tornado that's about to wipe out Arcadia Bay. How do you stop it? And I guess the villain is Mark Jefferson, when you find out he's the one behind the Rachel Amber stuff and the dark room and all that kind of stuff. He's like a stereotypical villain in that game, but the overall villain in that game is the tornado, or maybe even is the themes of suicide and depression, if you relate it to Kate, or any, you can relate it to any of the themes, but I think the overall villain, what you fear the most that's coming, is the tornado, because that's really what's introduced in Episode 1, and that's really what's carried on throughout the entire season of Life is Strange, and that's basically the primary antagonist is this entity. It's really this natural disaster that's going to wipe out Arcadia Bay, really because Max has these time travel powers. So that is the villain. When it comes to Life is Strange 2, we don't really know yet who the villain is or what the villain is in Life is Strange 2. We didn't really get any of that in the episode. It was mainly Sean and Daniel running away from home after what happened at their home, and being reluctant to go back. Mainly Sean, who multiple times says, we can't go back, we can't explain our story, they'll never believe us, stuff like that. And that's kind of the stuff I was talking about earlier, maybe in the review or in other episodes. I don't necessarily fall for. I'm not a huge fan of that aspect of it. I like the story. I like the fact that they're runaways. I like the fact that they're in the wilderness, and I like the bonding. I like all of that stuff, but just the decision making by him to be no, we can never go back, it's they never believe, that kind of stuff, they are taking it in that racism kind of way, especially because, again, what we talked about 2 episodes ago with the anti-Trump thing, with the building the wall, and they're Mexicans, and they were taught, and the one character was saying you had to build a wall, and are they illegals, and they are legal people in the United States, but they're going to Mexico. So what it does seem like is the only thing that happened in Life is Strange 2 so far is the cop shooting the dad, which you could go based off of current, the political landscape of the United States, and not kind of taking, I guess, what they perceive cops to being, which again upset me a little bit in terms of, that's the way the cops act. So you can go based off that. That's the racism category there. And then you also have the building the wall and people perceiving these two not just as runaway children, but as illegals, as people that are here illegally. And if that's the case, and if that is the theme that they want to stick with for the rest of Life is Strange 2, then yes, I actually do believe the villain of Life is Strange 2 is racism, is the entity of racism between people and Sean and Daniel. And here, again, like I said, here's the thing. If they do that, they're going down a dark path. They're going down a path that I do not like. They're going down a path that's based off a lot of assumptions and a lot of stereotypes, which, again, as I talked about in the Trump one, people on that side tend to say that the people who do the whole building the wall and stuff, they're the stereotypical whatever, or they point out that they're the stereotypes, but actually by doing that, they're stereotyping themselves. So it's a weird circle, and nobody's really innocent in this kind of thing. And Don't Nod's putting themselves right in the line of fire, because if this is the path they go down, I can guarantee you this is going to make people mad. The gaming industry in general is more liberal left, and so maybe they don't get hurt as much as people may think they would get hurt, because the gaming industry industry is more of a liberal amount of people. They're not really conservatives. They're not really Republicans. They're mainly liberal Democrats. And that's not my opinion. That's literally the landscape of the gaming industry. You can look it up. Just look it up. So, you know, does Don't Nod really get that hurt from doing something like this? Really hurt? No. Do they get hurt? Yes. I do think there is fans, you know, people that don't want. Here's the thing. It's not even just left. I'm left or I'm right. It's not even that. When I made the video about the Trump thing, I got a lot of comments in it, and even in the live stream that I did of it. And people were saying, mainly one of the biggest things I was reading in the comments was, I go to games for entertainment. If I want to go there for opinions on political landscape, I'd go to the news network, which is just, you know, those are just hit piece networks anyway. Those aren't actually news networks to begin with, but that's where people would go to, you know, and it's tough. And I get that side, and people believe and people think that side. And I am in a way like that. I do think developers and artists and all of that stuff should be able to freely speak their mind. I mean, it's America, even though Don't Nod's in France. But you can say whatever you want. You can have whatever belief that you want. It's just, you know, you have to go based off, but is the opinion you have truthful? You know, is it actually a truthful thing? Because, you know, when musicians do it, even if, I don't know. Sometimes they take it too far in their lyrics. I support I love the music of Green Day, although Green Day's taken it too far, I believe, in the political field, and I don't like that aspect, but I love their music. So it's tough, but if they ever started making heavy music that's so anti one thing or anti another thing, I don't know if that affects me or not. So it's tough. Like, I don't want to say keep politics out of video games, keep politics out of music. I don't think that's necessarily fair, because I do think you should be able to speak your mind, and artists and creators in terms of gaming industry should be able to speak their mind. But, you know, if you take wrong assumptions, or you're gonna get somebody upset, you're gonna get people angry, and, you know, that's going to affect the game. And to be honest, I would like the villain of Life is Strange 2 to be an entity or an individual. I want that. I want it to be... I want Daniel's powers to have some sort of repercussion on the world. Max's time travel powers had repercussions. Chloe continues to die, and there's a tornado that's going to wipe out an entire city, and that's because of Max. It's, you know, we don't know how Max got her powers. We don't know how Daniel got his powers. But we do know what happened because Max got her powers. There's consequences to it. The universe, you know, had that tornado happen because of Max's powers. If she went back in time and she didn't save Chloe and she didn't use her powers, she didn't have powers, the tornado never would have happened. It's a balancing act. And hopefully Don't Nod takes that same act with Daniel. He's got these powers. We don't even know really what these powers are, but, you know, an individual can't just have these powers without there being an equaling, you know, force. There needs to be something else that can balance that out. And so maybe that's maybe it's like a huge earthquake. I don't know. I mean, that sounds kind of stupid, but maybe it's some maybe it's some natural disaster again. But maybe it is like an actual person. We had last season, we had Jefferson as a character, an actual physical entity we could touch and see and interact with. That was the villain of Life is Strange. It wasn't really shown off until the end, and he isn't really the main villain. I think the tornado is, but he's a villain. So could Life is Strange 2 do the same thing? Could there be a nature villain, and can there also be a person villain? Yes, there totally could, and I'm hoping for that one. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about all this? Do you think there will be a person or some sort of villain in Life is Strange 2, or do you think the overall theme of racism is the villain of Life is Strange 2? Let me know. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Thank you guys so much for watching. These Life is Strange community series go up every single Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time, so next Wednesday we'll have another video, and I hope to see you guys there.